Well, I truly didn't expect to wake up to this morning when the Democrats have their own shakeup happening, their party's fragmenting. I'm going to go to explain that a little bit further. And of course, the Trump administration has to have their own shakeup because someone just got their job taken away. Do you know who it is? You saw many headlines, I'm sure. Daily Mail, fierce power struggle erupts between Trump's immigration enforcers, Tom Homan and Kristi Noem. Big story. There's a lot surrounding it because it's all about results, isn't it? And how to achieve those results. Because the commander-in-chief has a number he wants to get to. And now that there's more money to be spent, who is the best person to achieve it? Man, wait till I give you all the elements of this story in just 1 minute. Still don't know what to make of this headline before we get to the main story. Major media analyst advice to Comcast. Put Erica Kirk in charge of NBC and CNN. Interesting thought process. Don't know if I'm a fan of it, though. Rich Grimfield, a prominent media analyst, offered Comcast some telling advice. If you want to convince people you're not left-leaning, please put Erica Kirk in charge of NBC, MSNBC, and CNN. What's your thoughts on that? So why? She could be diffused. Her efforts could be taken away. She could be put into the mainstream media machine. Nice try, guys. I wouldn't take that advice, Erica, if I were you. Not in a million years you actually think they're going to give you control of their networks? Come on now. No one is that short-sighted. You're simply trying to take away what could be one of the most powerful spokespeople for the conservative movement by shoving them into the mainstream media. In no way, shape, or form should Erica ever take that advice because everything's been exposed. Did you catch this story? We've talked about it many times. SNAP funding. All they did is rename food stamps to SNAP, so it didn't sound so bad. But when they exposed their own agenda by, oh my gosh, the funding for SNAP's going to run out, how dare the Republicans do it, they actually exposed their own hand because people realized that 40 million people are still on food stamps in the U.S. But do you know who those people are? Because the Democrats are protecting them. The same people the Republicans are trying not to fund. Robert Finnery did a great job of this. It's far worse than anyone realized. There are 42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis, he stated. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps. 42% of Somalia immigrants are on food stamps. 34% of every immigrant from Iraq is on food stamps. 23% of every Haitian immigrant is on food stamps. 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayers are not even Americans. We have no problem in this country. Our taxpayer dollars are being spent perfect. We should definitely reopen the government immediately and give the Democrats everything they want. It makes perfect sense. Folks, these numbers get worse and worse. So much covered today. But of course, we always take a break to say thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for helping me to always make sure that these public platforms and the algorithm knows this news is important. And you've done that by making sure your bell is checked to all so you're alerted to all my broadcasts, by subscribing, by joining as a member, by commenting, by sharing. All those things make a difference. All of you who followed my podcast to its part 2 over at restrictedrepublic.com, I can't thank you enough. Truly means the world to me. And those of you who have supported my sponsors, who help me to keep these lights and cameras on, have you gone to justiceknightgold.com yet? Noble Gold Investments has been one of our longest sponsors because gold's gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere and prices keep climbing. More Americans keep turning to gold to protect their wealth. But how do you take advantage of it? A lot of people don't know. That's where Noble Gold Investments always comes in. From rolling over an old 401k into a gold IRA to physical coins and bars delivered straight to your home. Noble Gold makes it simple, safe, stress-free. All you have to do is go to justiceknightgold.com. You see it right there on your screen. Claim your free wealth protection kit. And Noble Gold makes protecting your wealth simple. And with every new qualified account, IRA or cash purchase, you get this one beautiful 10-ounce silver flag bar and 1 silver American Eagle proof coin. Again, what is that address? It's justiceknightgold.com. Remember, there's always a risk to investing, no guarantees, but if anyone can see you through that risk, it's Noble Gold. Again, go to justiceknightgold.com right now. But now let's get back to this video. But the DOJ and the government's doing a terrible job. How dare they be so slighted? How dare they interfere in everything? DOJ prepares to send election monitors to California and New Jersey following requests from state GOPs. And of course, who goes crazy? Gavin Newsom.
So today, the Trump administration announced they're sending election monitors to 5 specific counties here in the state of California. They have no business doing that. They have no basis to do that. In fact, we have a statewide election for a statewide.
Okay, that's all I could take from him. They're interfering, he goes on to state. Well, not so quickly, Gavin. Let's calm down, bro, Harvey Dillon comes out and states. The Justice Department and Democrat administrations have sent in federal election observer for decades. And not once did we hear that this was voter intimidation. From states such as California, do you really want to go there? I thought transparency was a good thing. Rules for thee, but not for me. They continue to apply the same philosophy, and now they're finally getting called out for it. But then, back from the grave comes Joe Biden. I'm sure he had a message of peace, love, and tranquility. I'm sure he wasn't going to add to the resonating sound bites of more fury and anger now, did he?
In my over 50 years in elected public life, this is the worst I've seen it. It's time to get re-engaged. It's time to act, to fight like hell. This is no time to give up. It's time to get up. Get up now, get up.
Whisper and then scream. Well, some things never change. Fight like hell. You see, the soundbite doesn't change. The resonator in chief has continued to do what he always does, because that's not dangerous nowadays. No, it's not inspiring any. Oops. Tyler Maxon Avalos arrested for posting TikTok video offering $45,000 reward for the death of Attorney General Pam Bondi. You see, these words, some people take seriously. And it's why when you say we got to cool the rhetoric, you have to look in the mirror and take your own advice. But you never will. Because is this the stuff you want? Because this is what happens as a result of that rhetoric. Because as I'm going to discuss in part 2 of this podcast later on, you see the left is dividing. And the part of the party that's taking control is a whole lot scarier than the party that has control right now. So the headline story. You ready for it? Trump administration to reassign ICE officials in bid to intensify deportation campaign. What are we talking about here? ICE versus Border Patrol. And a number. DHS removes more than 500,000 illegal aliens from the U.S. This was published on October 27th of 2025. But it appears folks aren't happy with that number. It's not enough yet. And if you look at foreign countries and you look at the crime statistics in those countries and you listen to the citizens of those countries, when there's women who won't even go running in the streets of their own countries because of fear, you'll understand why this movement is so important. Don't let anyone downgrade how important it is to have secure borders, secure states, cities, and streets. But I digress for a moment. We're going to go a little bit more factual here because remember, there's congressional members who want to make fictitious statements like this.
There's only one parallel in history that I can think of that has occurred in my lifetime. And that, of course, would be the internment of 120,000 Japanese Americans during World War II.
You see, folks like Dick Durbin, irresponsible, uneducated, historically ignorant would be an understatement. He just compared one of the darkest black spots on American history to when Japanese Americans were put in internment camps in World War II to those here illegally being removed. That is a slap in the face to all who actually suffered. But irresponsibility is what these guys do for a living. Remember, this is the same guy who said, if I read this to you, and did not tell you this was about Guantanamo Bay, that it was an FBI agent describing what Americans had done to prisoners in their control, you would most certainly believe this had been done by Nazis, Soviets, in their gulags, or some mad regime, Pol Pots or others, that had no concerns for human beings. He later had to apologize for that comment to our soldiers and had to put it on record, fighting back tears. But let's go back to the main story. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and 2 other people. Fierce power struggle erupts between Trump's immigration enforcers, Tom Homan and Kristi Noem, over deportation tactics. What does that mean? There's 2 different tactics being taken. ICE, led by Todd Lyons, tends to target the worst of the worst, while Border Patrol, led by Greg Bovino, tends to target everyone here illegally. Most of the clips you see on TV are Border Patrol. You really don't see as much of ICE activity. Are either doing the wrong job? Absolutely not. Are either not carrying out their orders? Absolutely not. Does one equal higher numbers? Absolutely. This is now a numbers game. A numbers game led by more money coming in due to the budgets. A fierce power struggle within the Department of Homeland Security has cost up to now a dozen jobs. Oh, you see, there's been firings because of this. Donald Trump's hand-picked border czar Tom Homan, along with his right-hand man, ICE Director Todd Lyons, are understood to be at odds with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem over her approach to tackling the illegal immigration crisis. You can be at odds with her, but she's the boss. You can only go so far now, right? Homan and Lyons want to pour their resources into tracking down convicted criminals who are living in the United States illegally, as well as people who have already been served final deportation orders. Remember what I said. They have a more targeted approach, targeting the worst of the worst, and allegedly this has frustrated not only Kristi Noem, but Corey Lewandowski and Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino. So now we have 2 sides. Noem is instead advocating for a broader and more aggressive approach in an effort to boost the number of reportable deportations each day. She's made a point to share statistics of successful deportations amid pressure from Trump to rid America of as many as 1,500 illegal immigrants per day. You see, it always trickles down, doesn't it? When the boss wants a number and gives it to the next boss in line, her job is to achieve that number. And when he got you funding, then you really damn well better get that number. And so optics suddenly make a difference. And when someone finds himself on camera a little bit too much, you might have a problem. But it's always been a degree of personalities in the Trump administration. It's something we have to deal with. Does it mean either are doing a bad job? No. But they're not getting the number Trump wants. So there's a shakeup. They're going to remove the 12 senior officials, ICE officials, and replace them with 12 Border Patrol leaders, picked and handpicked by Greg Bovino. Folks, this is going to light things up because some of the areas, some that have been quieter, let's call it Phoenix, Denver, El Paso, Philadelphia, you haven't heard a whole lot out of. Well, those are now being changed over, along with Los Angeles, San Diego, New Orleans, Portland. They're about to have new field leadership. There's tension within the ranks on tactics. Some saying they're going too hard Too fast, and at what cost? ICE falls under DHS remit, which is run by Noem, but Trump specifically appointed Holman as his border czar when he returned to office as part of his pledge to clamp down on immigration. To me, the border czar means keeping the border secure, when Kristi Noem's job would be to keep the homeland secure, which would be to clean the homeland out from those here illegally. To me, it's a rather clean line. I don't know why they're trying to muddy it up in this article. Holman will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin, which would be his role and responsibility. You see, this may not be quite as cloudy as it appears to be. If you got through here and there's already a warrant on you, that then falls under the purview of Tom Homan, which it has thus far. And if you're here illegally and he's unaware of it, it would fall under the purview of Kristi Noem and Border Patrol. Folks are trying to cloud this issue. Don't let them cloud it. They always want the administration to appear to be fragmented. This may now be a clear delineation based on increased funds and resources to assure they're allocated to the right efforts led by the proper leadership, just like any corporation would do. Is there going to be a feud? Is there a feud in any corporation? Of course there is. These are big-headed personalities, just like Trump is. Trump was reportedly so annoyed by the feud with Noem and Lewandowski that he called them into the Oval Office to raise his concerns, but the department quickly shut down the rumors. Backed up Homan, remember, with his scandal about it emerged that he'd been investigated for accepting $50,000. Well, they defended him. They didn't bury him because they need everyone. This is a whole of government approach. It has been from the beginning, no matter what any of these headlines want to say. Bill Melugin covered this also. Covered many of the same points we just went through. About the same offices, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Denver, El Paso, San Diego, Seattle, Portland, New Orleans, all being changed over. Hand-picked, aggressive, and controversial Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino hand-picked a new leadership. ICE typically conducts very targeted operations. Border Patrol targets larger operations, Trojan horse operations. Those are the ones you see on TV, stating much of the same things I just told you. But he states the most important part at the bottom. Another DHS official confirmed the personnel changes to me on deep background, adding that the moves are based on performance and doing what is needed to achieve the best results. Boy, that shouldn't be so shocking. What's the administration say? This is one team, one fight. President Trump has a brilliant, tenacious team led by Secretary Noem to deliver on the America's People mandate to remove criminal, illegal aliens from this country. Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, the ICE director, Corey Lewandowski, ICE deputy are patriots who wake up every day to make this country and its people safer. As we said, we have no personnel changes to announce right now, but we remain laser focused on results, and we will deliver. It's always clear when you put things in that context, huh? And Bill Melugin ends with this. Just spoke to another senior Trump administration official who tells me there was a widespread review of ICE leadership after the one big, beautiful bill passed, with a massive infusion of money, and these decisions were based off who can execute the mass deportation agenda the best with more staff and more money. You see, it comes down to performance and results. But America has a hard time grasping that sometimes because they're misled by the mainstream media. Because the mainstream media seizes on feuds. I guess it's sexier. It gets more headlines. Sometimes it's just simply not that. Sometimes it's just about results. And when you've had prior administrations that never get results, I understand. It's really hard to understand that. But the Trump administration gets results. And that is what they should be judged by. Because the other side has a major issue right now. And they want you looking the other way at all times. Bleeding Kansas. How many of you know what that means? Because it's happening again right now. It happened during the Civil War. In the late 1850s, Bleeding Kansas was a term used to describe the escalating cycle of violence when surrogates for the Union, and soon to be Confederacy, fought each other over whether Kansas would be admitted as a free or slave-owning state. And the parallels between the Democrat Party of what is in existence now versus Zoran Mandamis and AOCs and the more, well, what is getting attention side of the party are quite at odds. And when I draw the parallels, it will be a wake-up call to what is coming out of the Democrats. I'll continue this podcast now over, as I do almost daily, at restrictedrepublic.com. I'd love you to join me there. It's where we really go heavy into details and information that can be shared nowhere else but there. The exclusive content that Lisa Hammond and I work to provide you on our news platform. It is our version of what many would consider a CNN or MSNBC or Fox News, even though I hate using those monikers because that's not what we do. We just give you the news that matters, not all the fluff and filler, because guess what? Your time's too valuable for that. So we just give you everything that you need to be concerned about so you're aware of things to come. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.